Hey everybody, it's Tony D and Little Joan here with a Screenwriter's Rant. Yeah, I know it's been a while. I haven't done a lot of these because Hollywood's basically shut down, but they finally found something they could do. A little Zoom movie for HBO called Coastal Elites. And this is the trailer for it. I wish, again, I could play it for you, but, I'm not risking, I know, Joan, I'm not risking the flag from YouTube. So I'm just going to do stills like I always do and kind of go through it. So the premise of Coastal Elites, I think it's based on a play, um, or at least it was developed kind of as a play, and you could tell it's got a very play like. I know, they're celebrities. It's got a play-like atmosphere to it because you got people talking to the camera, and it's all very actory, if you know what I mean. You can hear everybody acting in it. So, and as someone on Gab Trends said, this is probably the most anti-Trump thing ever, and it really is. It's just incredibly anti-Trump and incredibly tone deaf. I mean, to call this coastal elites, I guess they're trying to be ironic, but these are coastal elites. These are rich celebrities starring as, you know, poor people and trying to, but really it would be more honest if they were themselves. They're trying to do it through like normal people. Um, so this is Sarah Paulson, and she plays sort of a character, and I'm guessing at the characters based on what I saw in the trailer. She's kind of like a character who's got relatives who are Trump supporters, and she's kind of dealing with that. And she seems like a sort of a new agey sort of mediator. Joan, what the hell? I'm trying to think, and you're just over here going, brah, brah, brah. What do you want? What do you want? I'm paying attention to you. So you want nothing. Just be quiet. Just be quiet for a few minutes. Uh, so she kind of can't deal with her Trump loving relatives, basically. Then, so it's a series of monologues, I guess, and it's supposed to be political satire. This is probably the worst one because it's Bette Midler, and I read a bit of a write up on it. She plays like a teacher in a public school in New York. So she's playing someone, who's like middle income in New York. And this probably isn't out of her wheelhouse, but it's Bette Midler. I mean, she's a famous international singer and actress, and she really hates Trump. I mean, she really hates Trump. And she's just ranting about Trump in this, but as a middle class person. And I don't think she really gets it. I mean, she just I don't think any of this will ring true in terms of why Trump got elected in the first place. They just don't get it. They can't get it. How could they? It's not about money. Trump isn't about money. It's about people like this who have been talking down to the rest of us for years. And, one of the lines that she says is something like, I saw a MAGA hat wear in New York City, and she's outraged by that concept. And she says that would be like me wearing a yarmulke, going to the middle of Nebraska, carrying a pride flag, and reading a book. Like, how insulting can you get? And what you don't understand, writers of Coastal Elites, is actual middle class people wouldn't go out of their way to insult other middle class people like that. It's just, I don't think they would. I don't think they would. And if they would, they're not very, they're not characters that I like. It makes them very unlikable. They're kind of insulting their own. Now I understand if it would be they're frustrated. Why are these people voting for Trump? I just don't get it. Like that, I understand. But to insult the intelligence of those people, that's being elitist. So if you're trying to make this ironic thing, because She's not a rich person. She's not playing a rich person. She's playing someone who's like middle income in New York. Yeah, good luck with that. As if that existed before the virus. Um, you know, I just don't think you know what you're talking about. And then her name's Isla Rae, I think. I'm not familiar with her. She plays a woman who's like a nonprofit manager of some kind who met Ivanka Trump once. And how she insults Ivanka Trump is she describes her as remembering her name and smiling a lot, but that the smile said, I'm not really here. Like, how is that an insult to you? You're like, it's like you're going out of your way just to take a slam at Ivanka. I guess you couldn't say something she actually did that would be bad. So you end up with this weird sort of like description that doesn't sound bad. I mean, if she went through the trouble of learning and remembering your name, she's showing you respect. That she smiled is it's what celebrities do. It's what public figures do. They smile all the time. I mean, she memorized your name. That is a look. And as a person, I can't remember names to save my life. If I ever have to remember a name to save my life, I'm dead. I'm just dead. So, that to me, that's not even a complaint. And then, okay, so there's Bette Midler on her rant. I'm ranting. Trump is so bad. I'm not sure what her name is. Caitlin Dever. I don't know her. She is, I think, lesbian because she talks about going on a date with a girl. I think that was the context. And so this one didn't strike me as particularly anti-Trump, but it didn't strike me as anything. I got the context. And then you got Dan Levy, who's great in, if you haven't seen it, Schitt's Creek, which was on the Canadian station, and then I think they brought it here, or it was on Netflix. He's so great in that. He's Eugene Levy's son, Eugene Levy from SCTV, of course. And he plays, I guess he's a gay guy, talking to perhaps his psychiatrist on a Zoom kind of call or whatever. I'm a little disappointed to see him in this, but he is really good, and he's funny. He's got more life in him than the other guys. The other guys are kind of boring, and they're too wrapped up in their politics. I didn't see a tremendous amount of politics in the trailer from him in particular. It was more about I think gay stuff, but which didn't sound like political gay stuff necessarily, but I guess it could be. But again, Trump, I was just arguing with somebody tonight. Trump has been one of the best allies the gay community has had. The fact that he made the Republicans treat the gay people as a non-issue now. I mean, the Republicans in the 80s and 90s, they went after the gays. They took a strong, hard stance against gay people, and they were constant religious nutbags like Rick Santorum, who would say awful things about gay people, and it was not a good time. It was not a good look. It was cringy as hell. You'd see these guys on the news. We can't let gay people adopt because they would equate gayness with all sorts of horrible things. That's gone from the Republican Party now. It's gone. Trump made it official by flying the rainbow flag at the RNC when he got elected the first time. And it was a brilliant move. Now you could say, well, Trump doesn't give a crap. He doesn't. He doesn't care about, he's a New Yorker. You think he cares whether somebody's gay? He's got gay guys in his administration, and one of them did a great video about the log cabin Republicans. I forget who he is. He's pretty high up there. He's like in the intelligence community somewhere. But, this, to me, this whole concept would have played greater if they had just been more honest. about who they are, you know? And look, I mean, they're actors and they're playing characters, but but to me, this isn't resonating with anybody other than people in Hollywood who think they understand the populace based on what they read on Twitter, which is another thing that Sarah Paulson goes into. Let's see, where is it? Oh, where is she? Okay, so in her rant, she goes into pretend you're not on Facebook, pretend you're not on Twitter. It's like, I don't need to pretend. I mean, I'm not on Facebook all the time, and I'm not on Twitter all the time. I just put it down. Most people aren't obsessed with those things. They're on them on occasion. Some people are. 2% of the population's on Twitter, by the way. So that to me is another sort of indication of where the writers are coming from in this diatribe against Trump, I guess you'd call it. And it kind of is and it kind of isn't based on this write-up. I mean, based on this trailer. I mean, the write-up I read was Breitbart, so they're probably a little more hyperbolic about it. But this, to me, is tone deaf because I think they're trying to be ironic with the name Coastal Elites, but they're not connecting, in my view. Excuse me. They're only connecting based on their limited knowledge of what they think the general public is like. And only one side of the political spectrum. And actually not even the whole side. Part of it. Because if they were really going to do, say, the left side, they would include some college kid who's ready to destroy his life by doing something for Antifa. You know? Some member of the resistance who's doing something supremely idiotic. But, see, they're not tapped into that either. They're still in my view, they're in the old paradigm of television and newspapers. And those two mediums, in terms of news, they're just lying to you at this point. They were the gatekeepers, now they're not, and instead they're desperately saying anything to keep their audience. So, and that's what Coastal Elites reminds me. It just feels desperate. Just feels desperate and sad and very cheap. But, you know, it's on HBO Max, I think, which I think I got a free... Yeah, I think I got a free copy. Is it HBO Max? Yeah, HBO Max. September 12th at 8 p.m. I got a free copy of it, so I guess I could watch it if I wanted to, but I don't know why I'd bother, quite frankly.